Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. With it being NBA Draft Lottery Week, I thought it would be a very good idea to react to this Bleacher Report article that they did put out this week. It says one trade idea for every NBA lottery team if they win the first draft pick. Now, we will know what draft pick your Detroit Pistons have this Sunday. That is when the draft lottery is taking place. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to react to this article. There are two separate Detroit Piston trades in this article, and we're going to react to both. One is a Pistons trade, and the other is a Memphis Grizzlies trade involving the Detroit Pistons. So we're going to go over and react to both of those trades. The first trade we're going to be reacting to is with the Detroit Pistons and the Pelicans. Now, I know we did an article reaction video last week talking about both of these teams, and there was a Pelicans beat reporter in that article that said there's a 0% chance that the Pistons and Pelicans make a trade. Now, I do not believe that to be true. I think that it's probably closer to the 30-40% chance range that the Pistons and Pelicans could make a trade, and I'll explain to you right now why I think that. I think if you look at the Pelicans and you look at the center position, you look at Jonas Valanciunas, right? There is no way that they are going to be re-signing this guy. They can't afford it, one. And two, the money that he's going to command, the Pelicans would have to trade pieces. And I doubt they want to do that, given like you got guys like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy that are probably going to have to get paid sooner than later. So they're probably going to let Jonas Valanciunas walk. Now, why I said that is because the two players in this trade that Bleacher Report proposed play in the front court. So let's react to the trade right now. So the trade would send Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and two lightly protected first-round picks to the Pelicans in exchange for Brandon Ingram. And Bleacher Report had this to say in a type of trade scenario. The Pistons need to do something this summer, as multiple executives told Bleacher Report's Aaron Penkus. I probably butchered that. And this would clearly qualify. But if Detroit wanted a big man at number one, probably Alex Sarr, but maybe the rapidly rising Donovan Clingan, it might feel like it could be without Duren and Stewart. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of their article because I did want to react to this trade. So, in the event that the Pistons do win the lottery, they get the first overall pick this Sunday. I think there have been so many debates right now with can Alex Sarr and Jalen Duren fit together. In theory, yes, they can fit together because Sarr has shown you, if you do watch his games, he has the ability to stretch the floor and put the ball on the floor and have a post game and, protect the rim. I think he's closer to becoming a two-way center as of right now than Jalen Duren is. But I do think Jalen Duren has the potential to become a two-way center. We just haven't seen it so far in Detroit. And I think the biggest reason why we haven't seen that is because of the roster construction surrounding Jalen Duren. And let me explain like the roster construction comment. I think if you look at the Pistons right now and you look at the starting lineup with Cade and Duren in there, Duren has to be the second, third option on that basketball team because the Pistons really don't have a go-to scorer like outside of Cade Cunningham. And I think what we saw this year with Duren was, hey, we need you to, one, protect the rim, set picks, and we need you at least 10 to 12 points from you. Well, we saw the 10 to 12 points this season with Jalen Duren. And he had monster games this season against the Bulls and the Hornets, putting up 20 games. We saw the flashes there. But I think what really hindered him this year was trying to become that two-way center because he was so exhausted from putting so much energy on the offensive end. The defense really suffered this year. There were lapses this season with Duren where he was letting guys just blow right by him, wasn't really protecting the rim, and wasn't playing much defense whatsoever. And that's to be expected. He's 20 years old, and you don't expect a guy coming out of the draft to instantly just become a two-way star. It's very rare that you see that. But I think if you're the Pistons, you win the lottery, you feel like Sarr has the higher potential. You feel like If you draft Sarr, he could be your center of the future. Then yes, you make this trade if it means you can get Brandon Ingram. I think why the Pelicans would make this trade is a couple of reasons, and we talked about it at the top of this video. It's Jonas Valanciunas. What are they going to do with the center position? They have to worry about money, with Trey Murphy. They have to worry about, they got Zion on the books, CJ McCollum on the books. Getting a Jalen Duren on a rookie scale contract would fix a lot of their center positions for the next couple of years until Jalen Duren does need an extension. And Isaiah Stewart has been a name that the Pelicans have been extremely high on since, 2020. They tried to trade for him during the NBA draft in 2020. They tried to trade for him this season. Jared Allen and Isaiah Stewart were two names that the Pelicans were trying to trade for because they knew going into this offseason, we can't afford to re-sign a Jonas Valanciunas. So this is why I think this is a very strong possibility if you're the Pistons, because one, Brandon Ingram is going to get traded. I don't know where he's going to get traded to, but he's going to get traded. The Pelicans just can't afford him, and they can't afford Jonas Valanciunas either. So getting a guy like a Jalen Duren on a rookie scale contract to be your starting center makes sense for the Pelicans. Getting a guy like Isaiah Stewart makes sense for the Pelicans. It kind of fits their philosophy, and I feel like it'd be such a good energy guy off the bench for them. And the two lightly protected, first, if that's all it takes to get a stud like Brandon Ingram, I think it would work. Now, I did see a comment the other day from someone that does, watch our videos saying, like, how would Ingram differ from a Jeremy Grant? Well, this is what I'll say about that. I think Brandon Ingram is a better player than Jeremy Grant. And I think Brandon Ingram, I know some people will probably really hold a lot of weight to his recent comments saying, like, hey, like, I wanted to get more touches in the playoffs against OKC. I want to be the number one option. I think a lot of people really focused on that, but you have to remember there was no Zion in that series. If Zion's in that series healthy against OKC, Ingram's not saying, hey, I need the ball. I need to be the number one option. I think he just said that given where the team was at and given the injuries. I don't really think Ingram believes that he's a number one option on the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, where I think some people kind of correlate Jeremy Grant and Ingram was like, well, would Ingram come here and kind of have that same type of attitude of saying, hey, I want the ball in my hands? We saw towards the end of Jeremy Grant's tenure him deferring to Cade Cunningham. Now, I think there's a world where you could have a Brandon Ingram, Alex Sarr, and Cade Cunningham in the starting lineup, and they could all figure it out towards each other. They could all get theirs. And Cade's the type of player where Cade is such a selfless player, he would probably be okay with giving Ingram maybe another, 5 to 7 more shots a game if that meant the Pistons could win more games. So I don't really think I see a similarity in terms of a Jeremy Grant and Brandon Ingram. That's just me. I felt like Jeremy Grant a lot of times was just forcing shots to get the shots up, trying to get his points up. But that towards the beginning when Jeremy Grant was here, towards the end, he started deferring to Cade and, locking in as a team player. I know some people probably say, like, oh, he didn't do that. But that's kind of my takeaway on it. Like, if you win the lottery, you feel like Alex Sarr is, as of right now, closer to the two-way center, then yeah, definitely make this trade. If you're the Detroit Pistons, to me, I would be on board with this. The second trade in this video is with the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, this is in the event, you guys, that Memphis shoots up the draft lottery and wins it, right? We've seen crazier things happen in the draft lottery. I mean, we've seen the Pistons fall to fifth 2 straight years. Hopefully it's not a third straight here, right? But this is the trade we're going to be reacting to. So, Memphis would trade the first pick to the Pistons for Jalen Duren and a 2024 first-round pick. And this is what they had to say. While a clean bill of health could get the Grizzlies back in championship contention, they could use more physical force along the front court. Remember their February deal with Houston left a Steven Adams-sized hole in the center rotation. And while a 250-pound Duren isn't quite as bulky as a 265-pound Adams, he could be just as active on the glass while adding a different dimension as a lob finisher. They go on to say that there would be an argument for Memphis standing pat and taking a young, big number one, but there might be a better argument for moving down the board and adding a rotation-ready player like Duren in the process if the draft order breaks right. The Grizzlies could even double down at center by taking UConn's Donovan Klingon, whatever. I think it's Killigan or Klingon. I don't know. It's probably Klingon. I know you guys will probably let me know. So, again, I think when we look at this trade, it's very similar to the Pelicans trade, right? I think if you're Detroit and you feel that Jalen Duren and Alex Sarr cannot fit together, and you think a Alex Sarr is closer to becoming a two-way center that you need, then make the trade. In the event the Grizzlies win it. Now, they go on to say about the Grizzlies and the salary cap, much like the Pelicans, they're going to have to make moves because a lot of these teams do not want to get into the first apron and the second apron. They just don't want to do it. So there's probably going to be a lot of movement this summer in terms of trades. Just warning you guys now, I think this is probably going to be the craziest offseason in terms of just movement, player movement, just trades. But in this scenario, in this mock trade, I think if you're able to get a first overall pick for Duren and you're really in love with Alex Sarr, then yes, make this trade. Let me know which two of these trades you're more intrigued with. Is it the Brandon Ingram sending Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, and 2 lightly protected first to get him? Or would you be more intrigued with the Memphis Grizzlies possibly winning the lottery, sending a first overall pick for Jalen Duren so the Pistons can draft Alex Sarr? I'll talk to you guys down below in the comment section. Like always, hope you guys are staying safe. Take care, and catch you guys in the next video. Peace.